Okay, hello. You can tell it's been a long time since I've done this because I'm like, what am I doing? Oh yeah. So welcome. This is a very improvisational birthday 400th. It's basically just a 400th episode celebration. So welcome to our celebration. If you tune in later, I know I haven't been very good about promoting this week, but hey, it's a short week. And I'm very, very excited to be celebrating our 400th episode. And our 4-year podcast anniversary is next month. So I like that that the fours align, the four fours, not four fours, but the two fours. I my guests backstage are laughing at me hysterically, but I'm very used to that because I laugh at myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I laugh, laugh, laugh. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. I'm already on my second margarita for tonight. So yeah, so that'll make me a lot of fun. But I'm very excited to just I have some questions that were asked of me. And then if my two guests have questions for me, I'll put them on the spot and see if they want to ask me anything. And then we'll be announcing our schedule for our third annual Christian effing Bale month celebration. And I will be playing a preview clip of our Friday episode. And I'm also going to be ending with a clip from our 400th episode that released today, because it'll just say all my thank yous. So I don't have to go through that again because I don't have my thing pulled up and it would be a mess. So without further ado, so we can continue this great celebration that has kicked off to this monumentous, amazing start, I'm going to bring on a pair of boobs. I'm going to bring on a pair of boobs and two members of my Sexy Ladies crew, Carla and Meg.
We are here for support.
I forgot what a podcast is. It's been so long.
I know. I haven't seen you in
months.
It doesn't mean I haven't
the strike happened, and I was like, I'm going to be so supportive of the strike. I'm going to do nothing.
I'm going to do nothing.
Just complete silence.
Just utter silence on everything. No, it was the strike happened, and I hate to say it, all of the topics that changed, I was like, I don't know anything about any of these things.
Books? What are books?
What's a book? What is music? Reading?
What's music?
I mean, music, everyone knows. I care nothing about music.
Carla is my exact. But you both will be back. Carla is going to be on for ever. I think there's one episode you're not on in the next 2 months. There's
wow. I'm a busy bee.
So Carla will be back to being my unofficial co-host. Meg, you are on coming up next week when we talk about what is it? Remakes of television.
TV remakes. Yeah, I had to
I haven't done that out.
I had to look at the schedule because the strikes happened in May, and I honest to God have not even looked at the schedule. I look at what you send out, these are the alternates, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that stuff. So then I looked at the schedule, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're on a lot coming up.
I'm not on too much. I'm only on 2. I'm on 2 coming up.
Well, but and I'll just go ahead and announce it now. So if you are, and hello to people watching, and I will look at the comments now since I'm just looking at the background. Never mind. It's not important. So in January, if you don't know, if you are new to our podcast, we celebrate our unofficial, hey Aaron A. We celebrate our unofficial mascot, Christian effing Bale, every January because his birthday is in January. That's why. And Carla is on every single one of those because, well, thank you, Aaron. Thank you for the happy birthday.
She is Christian Bale.
Because she is Christian. Yes. If you didn't know this, if you're wondering what Christian has been up to lately, Carla can probably let you know. Carla knows him they're this close. And
we have this whole frenemy thing going on.
Frenemy?
Mostly where he thinks that he's my friend, but I consider him my enemy.
Whoa. Well,
Definitely not a parasocial relationship that you need.
It's like a reverse parasocial relationship. Where
Well,
he's a
see,
parasite living
Listens
in
to
my
this
home.
podcast and he's like,
And I
I
wanna
really
be
feel like
antisocial.
no, Christian Bale listens to this podcast and he's
he
like,
does.
Carla really gets me.
All those things I've been dying to say for years.
She's like
Revealed.
the voice in my head if I had no filters, if I were just a regular man and not the world's Christian Bale.
The world's Christian
Carla,
Bale.
Carla is saying my thoughts.
It's true. Yeah, because if you don't know, Carla does a spot on, well, it's Christian, but she does a spot on Christian Bale impression. Christian comes and lives with her for the month of January, eats all the marshmallows.
All the marshmallows, my God. Oh, I have to restock. Thank you for reminding me.
Get the-
I always say I'm gonna break him out of this habit, and yet here I am enabling it.
but so that kicks off 2020. What's next year? 2024. Yeah, 444. See, 400, 4 years, 444. And I'll just let you know really quickly what our schedule is going to be. So I pick a movie, Carla picks a movie. I was going to let Christian pick a movie, but it's not going to happen this year. And then the listeners pick a movie, and the listeners have chosen Rescue Dawn out of the ones with the poll. That's one that won the poll. So I guess everybody wants to hear about how Christian ate maggots during the filming.
He's always up to such interesting things, that man.
Yes. And it was another one where he lost weight, not to the same degree as like the machinist, but he did lose weight.
You mean the Machinist?
The Machinist, yeah. And then Carla chose 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh, I
love that movie so much.
I have chosen Velvet Goldmine because I've been wanting to talk about this movie forever. And then we are also doing, because we have somebody who was in the movie.
Are you
on with us
actually
right
doing
now? Yes.
I
it's
was
on
so
the schedule.
ready to be so salty.
It's on the schedule. It's there. I'm not deleting.
3
You're doing-
years I've been told that this is a thing that's going to happen. And 3 years it's been like, not this year.
But
Yes,
it's
if you
happening.
didn't all know, Meg is a very skilled and prolific, as in she has been in the background of one movie.
How many?
and
Wait,
that-
I'm sorry. Hang on. How many degrees from Christian Bale am I?
One.
Zero.
Zero.
Oh, yeah,
I was
that's
in a
right,
scene
zero.
with him. I stood this far from the man.
I know. So Meg is going to be on that episode. That's Public Enemies. So
Thank
that's
God,
what I'm
because
saying.
any longer I won't remember anything about it. I watched this movie twice in my life, and that was enough.
But Meg is going to regale us with stories of meeting and talking to Christian and
Just
becoming really good
hanging out,
friends.
just hanging
Yeah,
out.
just
You know,
chilling.
just
gonna
real
reunite.
chill. Just
They're
really,
going to reunite live.
Oh,
as long as we don't talk about that one night.
Whoa.
you get to bring that up. I will not bring that up for you.
Wow. So they will be
He's
reunited.
not the one I almost tackled. I'm gonna save
But
that
we
for the
will.
pod.
Yes, we will hear about that, and that'll be so exciting. So I can't even begin to tell you. It's my favorite month of the year, not like otherwise just podcast. January is not a favorite month of mine, except for the podcast, because I love it. Because honestly, and I said this on our 400th episode that just dropped, Carla's Christian effing Bale has been the greatest gift in my life. One of the greatest gifts ever. I'm serious. I think it's amazing. And she won last year a Fandom Choice Award for her portrayal. Well, it was this year, because it was in February of this year that you won.
This year has
But
been 4 years. There you go. There's your other
It's been the
4.
longest goddamn year.
it really has. It's never
And at the
going
very,
away.
But
towards
also
very
the
beginning of it.
fastest. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It went so slow, and then it was
That's
like, oh
true.
my God, it's
And then
almost
all of a sudden,
Christmas.
I know, it's so weird, so bizarre. And just for people viewing,
bizarre.
how bizarre, how
Do,
bizarre.
do, 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 do. See, I
The
know
one who doesn't
music.
do music.
And for those watching, if you have questions for me, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer them within reason. I don't think anyone's going to ask any really weird questions. I don't know. Maybe you will be. Who knows? But
Once the NyQuil kicks in, who knows?
and if Carla and Meg have questions for me, they can ask me too. So, and I was going to try and do Carla and I reacting to these TikTok videos, but I did not. Carla, I failed. I failed at this. I'm sorry. I just did not do it. I don't know. Maybe while we're doing this, I can find some and put them up there. I don't know. So Carla and I may have to do this at a different time. So I apologize. I just have not.
It's okay, I guess.
I know. Carla's like, I'm out of here. This is the only reason I showed up.
I would just watch you guys react to stuff. You guys can watch me react.
You can react to us
I'm gonna react to
stuff.
your guys' reaction to stuff.
I mean, I could probably pull up my TikTok, but I didn't download a bunch of them, so I know.
We'll do it at another time.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through Aaron's FYP and just judge Aaron based on FYP.
My FYP, I can tell you right now, my FYP is Dean Winchester, Jensen Ackles, politics, dogs, and then tattooed men saying things.
My FYP these days is puppies.
Yes.
Depressing news.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift
mine
and
too.
Travis Kelce, because I need to pay it. They don't make rom-coms anymore, and I need something in my life. More puppies and cooking videos. And that's it. And then DIY, like Dollar Tree DIY holiday decor, because I am just a total slut for some DIY that never looks as good as it does in the videos. I try and I fail.
My FYP is just a whole mishmash of things. I like to keep it varied, but it's mostly just comedy stuff. Things
Is it
that
a
make me
bunch-
laugh.
Are you still Carla? I don't know because we haven't talked about this in a while. I mean, not that Carla and I talk every day, by the way. I talk to both of these boobs every day, so it's not like I don't talk to them. But so Carla, are you still into the smish smash smish mash? Who's that dude?
Excuse me. His name is Shane Top, and he is on Smosh.
Okay.
Okay, it's not that hard.
I don't
know
understand. I don't understand any of the words that just came out of your mouth.
This is like just such a you just don't get me anymore.
Have we drifted apart? Have the boobs gone without support?
Boobs have
The elastic,
right?
We've aged too much now. We're like one boob on each side of the belly.
One's pointing slightly north.
In different
Oh my God,
directions.
I don't know.
Hey guys, what's the internet? I told you I supported the strike so hard. I have been barely even on social media for 5 months, and except for TikToks.
Except for TikTok,
I need to watch Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's romance because again, rom-coms are dead, and I have nothing.
Except for all the ones that I've sent to you, but you know.
Book Talk is also on my FYP because I like to get annoyed by shitty books being recommended to me.
Mine is the dark fic talk is how I got on that somehow, and that's when I'll get all these
so much monster fucking.
Oh my God, it's like, and then I got on this one
I have
with
no
like
control.
Men in like masks and like, you know. Doing really.
There was a follower
nice
I really
little
enjoyed.
Dirty, nice thing. I don't know.
She's like 20. She was reading The Hunger Games for the first time, and she was like live reacting while she's reading it. And I love The Hunger Games. I absolutely adore them. And I really liked watching her live react to this. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people did. But then they kept sending her books to read that are like smut, but women with like inanimate objects. And the most recent one I saw was her and the pumpkin. It was a woman who was seduced by a pumpkin spice latte. Like not even a sentient pumpkin spice, like a legit, and like the Starbucks employees like, are you a pumpkin sexual too? Because we think that's great. You're one of us. We can just tell. And it's like the door that loved me and all this other weird stuff. Like she keeps getting sent all these weird smuts of like women falling in love with inanimate objects. And she's horrified, and I find it hilarious.
On
That's
that
where
note,
my
I'd like
book
to
talk has
introduce
taken
you-
me.
On
What
that
a
note, I'd
journey.
like to introduce you to a new pen I picked
The
up.
NyQuil kicked it.
Speaking of Hunger
Thanksgiving.
Games, I will answer a question that was asked of me on Instagram from Rachel, who was, I guess, oh my gosh, hi. Hi, Jesse. So asked of me on Instagram, if you have any questions for me, Jesse, throw them my way. So Rachel wanted to know if I'm going to see the new Hunger Games movie. And speaking of my birthday, I just want to say it ties into my birthday. The Hunger Games, the first 3, was it 3, right? Right? It's
Yes.
3.
Yes.
So
No,
the
it's
first
4 technically the movie.
But the movies, yeah.
the movies, but so the first 3 would always come out around my birthday, so I'd always go and see them. So now it's like I feel like I have to go see this one because I know it's coming out, or isn't it coming out this month?
It came out.
Oh, it came
Oh,
out.
that's right. That's right.
I think it came out on Friday.
So I might see it for my birthday. So that's how that ties in. That was not a very exciting answer to your question.
That's a
But-
thrill. I'm so excited. I have to read that book because I have been like, do I really want to like care about Cornelius Snow? And the answer is no. So I'm also very exciting.
You are very no, you are exciting. You excite me in very never mind. I was getting a little bit there.
Well,
Am I
you-
your
you-
pillow? Am
Well,
I the door that loved you? Am I
call
your
me when you're
pumpkin spice
put us on
latte,
the
Aaron?
door.
You're my
Put us back on
pumpkin.
the live stream.
You're my pumpkin. Jesse, you're gonna get a very I like that you said dear Aaron. Thank you. That's very nice. That's how everyone needs to address every question
No wonder
they
I'm
ask
so
me.
attracted to Spock.
I
in
have
that
not
series.
seen the new Star Trek series because I'm sorry, I haven't watched very much Star Trek, so I have not seen it. But that's cool that Gregory Peck's grandson plays Spock. But I have not seen it. So a boring answer to a
I guess
very
you're gonna have to
fascinating
get on it,
question.
Aaron, so that you can provide a
And
more
here's what's
satisfying
fun,
response.
though. Here's what's
Yes.
fun. I am not a Trekkie, and I have not watched any of them, except I watched Strange New Worlds because I really enjoy it. And so, and you don't have to watch all the other ones to watch it. It
Oh,
takes
I
place
didn't think I
before a
would.
lot of them. And yeah, this answers why I'm attracted to Spock in Strange New Worlds because I'm a little in love with Gregory Peck, except he's dead, and that kind of ruins a lot of stuff.
Well, necrophilia is a thing.
On Book Talk, it sure is. Those dark romances.
No.
I've seen that part of the dark fic stuff. You interviewed the whole crew and most of the writers on Open Pike Night. Oh, that's awesome, Jesse. I'm trying to show this. Come on, stupid thing, work for me. There we go. So that everybody can see that. So everybody can go and listen and watch that. And people that tune in later, you can go and watch that. I'm trying to remember how to do this live stream thing. We haven't done a live stream in flippin' forever. So I'm glad to be back at it. January, for every Christian effing Bale one, we do those live because you have to see Christian live. You just have to. I mean,
It is an
hello.
experience.
It
You
is
do
such
not
an
want to miss it.
it's such an experience. Yeah. Well, Jen asked me a bunch of questions, and I'm going to go to one of them, and then I'm going to play a preview clip of her episode dropping Friday. It's a long preview clip, so we'll be taking a little bit of a break here. So let me get to the question. Sorry, everyone. Because this question, Jen, my podcast brain twin from my streaming bubble, we also started our own podcast together called Twin It to Win It, where we test our podcast brain twinniness. It's a monthly podcast. We just released our second episode talking about the invitation. I will answer that question in just a second, Jesse. and the invitation, not the vampire one, the cult one, and we discussed that one, and it's a really good episode. But I'm going to first answer Jen's question, and then I'll get to yours, and then I'll play this clip, because Jen's question, I tell you, it's really hard for me to answer this because of various different reasons. So Jen asked, would you rather only be able to watch Supernatural for the rest of your life, but all the characters are played by Misha Collins? Or never be able to watch another Christian Bale movie ever again? And this will go into your question, Jesse. This is hard because I don't want to see anyone else play Dean Winchester as far as the adult Dean Winchester goes. I don't want to see Misha Collins play Dean Winchester. I'm sorry. Maybe a body switch episode would have been fine, but I would be fine Misha Collins playing Sam. That would be weird, but that's fine. All the other characters. But I never want to give up Christian Bale movies. So I guess I would have to go with watching Misha Collins. That would destroy Dean for me.
This is funny because I'm the opposite. I would never watch another Christian Bale movie if it meant I had to watch Misha Collins in every single role. I love Castiel. I think Misha did a great job, but no.
It's the giving up the Christian Bale movies, because I don't want to watch Misha Collins do every single role, because I didn't like Cassifer, and I did not like The Empty Thing. That was like nails on a chalkboard for me. So I don't really want I really don't want to
you don't want to give up Public Enemies.
Yeah, I don't want to give up future Christian Bale projects, but I also really don't want to watch. I hate that question, Jen. I love you, Jen. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, now I've been flooded with some questions, so before I play that video clip, I'll just go ahead and answer some of these. So, favorite Christian Bale Batman movie, The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, because you also
that's a great one.
You get the Joker.
I'm going to answer all these questions.
You get Heath Ledger, and you get Heath Ledger, and there's no way I could choose anything else other than The Dark Knight. I do like Batman Begins. I just prefer The Dark Knight. I think it is the best Batman movie ever. Period. And Heath Ledger was so incredible, and even though that Oscar was because he sadly passed away, he did deserve it. It's not like it wasn't deserved. And I just think, it's amazing. I have not seen Saltburn yet. I'm very curious about this movie. I don't know if either of my panelists have seen this movie yet. This movie is being talked about like it's weird and bizarre, and nobody can describe what it is exactly. So yeah, but I haven't seen it, but I want to see it. I do like the cast a lot. And it is done by Emerald Fennell, who did.
Oh.
So
like suddenly that got my attention. I'm like, oh,
I know. I was like, this will get Carla's attention.
I literally just saw Barbie, and that's a movie that I really, really wanted to see, and I just saw it 2 weekends ago.
Did you love it?
I absolutely love it. I sobbed because, of course. I thought it was fantastic. I started watching it with a bunch of 10 and 11-year-old girls, and then I stopped and I watched it by myself. Because I wanted to actually watch it.
I understand. So the director calls Saltburn a 2006 period piece. What the hell?
I was out of high school even in 2006.
I do agree. And once again, if you listen to our pop culture episode from last week, I talk about how finally people seem to be appreciating Ryan Gosling like they all should have beforehand. Tiff, the other member of our Saxy Ladies crew, she agreed with me because Tiff and I have the best taste of the Saxy Ladies crew.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who doesn't appreciate Ryan Gosling?
A lot of people didn't appreciate Ryan Gosling before Barbie.
Okay, but I don't know why you just like slandered Carla and I like that as if we don't love Ryan Gosling.
Well, I've only heard love.
He's
about him
my baby goose. Ryan Baby Goose. I
Because
adore
of the-
Ryan Gosling. I'm like deeply offended.
You did, because I've never heard you say it.
I
when
haven't
have.
been here for almost
That's
half
true.
a year.
That's true. So I take it back but seriously, a lot of people when he was cast as Ken were like, Ryan Gosling, eh.
Well, they're
And they're
stupid,
just
and they
wrong.
haven't seen Crazy
Exactly.
Stupid Love. They probably only saw that. What's the stupid LA movie that him
La
and
La
them-
Land.
La La Land.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, they probably only
That was
but,
a
I mean,
terrible
he's done
movie.
other
But
great.
he
He's
didn't do
done
bad in it.
Blue Valentine, Half Nelson, Lars and the Real Girl. I could talk about Ryan Gosling for the rest of the night, but I'm not going to. But I could if you really pressured me to do it. Yes, I have watched Megan about
Miss
3
Freegan.
times. I love that movie. There is talk actually of a Megan and Chucky movie.
I thought you were gonna say
That's
I thought you were
wild.
gonna say a sequel, and I was like, is it Maforgan?
That would definitely be a sequel.
Mafivgan?
And I just want to put this up here because thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I've already aged so much that there's nowhere else to go. I've looked like this since I was 22.
Your body's just waiting for you to catch up to ultimate stage and then
Yes,
move on from there.
I've been an old woman since I was 23.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? I actually haven't seen. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ryan Gosling in that one. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I love
Me either.
love Ryan Gosling so much, and I'm so glad that he is getting appreciation. That people are appreciating him more. You know, like they should have from
It's
the
just
very
so
beginning.
bizarre to me because I always thought everyone was like, yeah,
No.
Ryan Gosling's fantastic.
Nope,
Everybody
there are
has
a
always
lot of
thought
people.
that he's good looking or that he's hot, but they have not taken his acting seriously.
Okay, but
That's
this is
exactly what
but
it
this
is,
is
and it
what's so
pisses me
bizarre
off.
to me because any criticism I'd seen about Ryan Gosling on Barbie before the movie came out was that he was too old to play Ken, which like goes against the whole like he's too handsome and too hot. Like, I don't know. I love
But-
Ryan Gosling, and I always have, and I've just never heard anyone be like, that guy. No
Well,
one
see, I
takes him
don't
seriously.
either until like recently, and especially when the casting news happened, when people would say there are people on our Barbie episode, which we did record a Barbie episode, by the way, we'll be dropping for our Patreon subscribers in December as a Christmas present. We're dropping an unedited. It's 3 hours long. When I said that at first, I was like, oh, gosh, that's so long. And then I'm in the process of recording of editing a 3.5 hour long episode right now. So whatever. But we'll be dropping an unedited video version of that Barbie episode for our Patreon subscribers. So you have to become a Patreon subscriber to see that. And you can see us dressed up as different Barbies. So it's worth it just for that. And then eventually next year, everybody else will be able to hear the episode. It's just Patreon subscribers get it first. So, you know, and we're also going to be doing an Elf episode for our Patreon subscribers too. That looks like that's won the poll. So that'll be our Christmas episode. So, are you planning on watching The Boy and the Heron? I don't know anything about this. The Boy and the Heron. What's this?
Who is the boy? Who is the heron?
What is it? Does anyone know what that is?
Mm-mm. I'm Googling it though.
And Sam, let me get my IMDb up.
Yes, we're planning on watching that.
Oh. Okay, so it's an anime, so that automatically
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know.
discounts me.
I want to ask Jesse a question, see if he answers in the chat. Would you consider Vox Machina an anime? Why or why not? And that is all. I don't watch anime at all.
Yeah, I don't either. So
I'm really excited about the Percy Jackson series coming out next month. I'm hoping one of my children start reading these books. My sister got it for my youngest daughter for her birthday. So like I think Robert Pattinson plays the heron. Oh, well, let's run to it right now.
Though, I will say
I'm like a puppy right now.
Oh, wait a second. Oh,
Robert
never mind.
Pattinson is actually
He's
he's a really
fantastic.
good actor.
He
He
is.
just got maligned because of being in the Twilight movies. Okay, so another question from Jen, and all of you can answer this too. A show and or movie that gets better with each rewatch. I think everybody can predict what I'm going to say for this answer. So I
Oh
will
gosh,
see.
could it possibly be Supernatural?
No,
Okay,
No.
good, because I was
better
like,
gets better.
Carlo
That's
was
why I'm
about to
like-
leave.
I know, I was about to be like, okay, well,
Hey,
this
I
is
am
not what I
down
signed up
that
for.
dumpster, but I am not gonna lie and say it gets better. Dean gets better, but I'm not gonna lie and say the whole show gets better. But no, that's not it. No, you are wrong. I'm surprised you didn't.
You got totally lost.
I was trying to see if anyone was gonna guess, but no, they're not gonna guess. So, and it's mainly just because I see new things in it. But Donnie Darko is the answer to a show or
Oh.
movie that gets better on each time I watch
I
it.
only heard show.
Oh yeah, show or movie. So I don't
Movie
know
would have
if
been so
there's-
easy if I had heard it.
I don't know if there is a show that gets better each time I watch it. I don't think there is a show that gets better each time I watch it, honestly.
I'm trying to think if there's a show that I don't know, like movie. I would think like a miniseries. I don't know.
I think
It's
it's
not-
easier with movies
Yeah,
than with
'cause I
TV
can't-
shows
yeah.
because you have even more time to find flaws
It's true.
and
Well,
like for them to accumulate more. Whereas movies,
you're
just like,
you're
okay,
that
these
you're
are
that
ours are done.
TikToker, like that actor did X, Y,
Oh
and
yeah,
Z.
seriously.
This is so like I feel like for me at least, it's not that it gets better every time I rewatch it, but I have watched it in many different stages of my life, and it offers me a different understanding and viewpoint, good or bad. But I feel like as I have evolved as a person, my views on shows, but in particular, I'm going to say Gilmore Girls is one because I'm the same age as Rory was in those movies. She's 1 year younger than me. Movies in those shows. In that show.
Lorelai?
No, I was the same age as Rory
Oh, like you were. Okay, got it.
when it came out, and I watched it when it came out. But so I've seen this show many, many times, but as I've aged from being the same age as Rory to being a mother and dealing with my own relationship with my mother and my in-laws and how I have grown as a person has changed how I watch the show. So I don't know if it makes it better, but it makes it more excuse me, kind of a deeper viewing as I watch it, if I'm actually going to sit down and like watch it. And also Battlestar Galactica gets better every single time I watch it.
That is true.
It's just it's so in depth, and it's so like there's so much meat there to chew on that every time I watch it, I find new stuff. But as far as like a thing that has grown with me, I guess, as I've grown up being a 15-year-old kid till now, Gilmore Girls is a big one. So there. I told you I'm going to answer all your questions, Erin. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's like, I suddenly miss you a lot less. Go away for
but-
5 more months.
No, I can't. I wish I could think of a TV show that gets better with each, because I have to say, even with doing this podcast, I'm trying to, I mean, maybe I like characters more. My opinions on characters change, but my opinion on a show doesn't really like change that much. So unless it's usually the opposite. It's usually like a show that I loved and then I end up not liking it as much or something. That's all I mean, honestly. Yeah. So, there are seasons of shows that I'll rewatch and I'll be like, this is a lot better than I originally thought it was, kind of thing. And I think I honestly think some shows benefit from binging where it actually makes the show better than when you're just watching one episode and waiting a week. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I kind of
But
miss the waiting though. Like sometimes, especially when it like you get 8 to 10 episodes and then they're gone for 2 years. And I kind of miss that communal
that's
discussion that you have each week with episodes. You know, like X-Files was like an event. Lost was
Mhm.
like an event for people. And I missed that a little bit, and I think you don't get the depth of story anymore when you binge watch 8 episodes of a season, because I think even filler episodes in the longer seasons of shows always had genuine moments and parts of plot and character development that were important. And I feel like 8 episodes is just it's so quick, and we're so obsessed with like fast consumerism, and it bums me out.
I see that. I just like shorter seasons, although now I've seen it from a different side as far as like the pay and the way everything is treated. Then I see that. But the reason I've liked some of them is I think it makes the seasons feel tighter and it makes the writing seem better and everything, because there's not as much of a filler thing and it doesn't feel like
Right.
like it's just
But
being done. So, but
I think there's a difference though between 8 episodes and 23 episodes. Like there's a happy middle ground.
yeah.
There.
Yeah, it's 11 and
Oh, I love
0.5.
Grimm. Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed Grimm on here.
Grimm
So,
is one of my favorite shows that I kind of forget about, and then I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that show, and I'll rewatch it and I'll be obsessed with it, and I'll text Carla and Jen about it.
oh, and I want to really quickly, Aaron A just sent me something, and I'm assuming I can post this. Aaron A, put in there if I can't. This is a birthday present to me. But it's also a present to everybody else out there. I am saying it's a present to everybody else out there, and I better be able to download this. Okay. So I'm going to upload this into our thing. Hi, Jen, my podcast brain twin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Jen, I've answered a lot of your questions, so you'll have to go back. The first one I answered was the Misha and Christian question, which I said on there, oh my gosh, why did you ask me that question? Because I didn't want to answer either one. But let me upload this because Aaron A has given me permission to upload this. So this is a new thing that has been created, and I'm uploading it also with an announcement. And it's actually still, it's kind of, this one is winning the poll. So we recently, and it's coming out on Friday, we recorded a 3.5-hour episode. And I'm only doing that because the editing part, but the 3.5-hour episode discussing Dean Winchester, and we barely scratched the surface. And this is coming out on Friday, and I have a preview clip of it that I'll share. And it's just, if you don't like Dean Winchester, if you have issues with Dean Winchester, do not listen to this episode, because we don't have any issues with Dean Winchester. I think we did one thing that we said against him. We just love him. If you are a diehard Sam Winchester girl, if you're a diehard Sam girl, beware, because we put him down a lot. That's the only, well, John and Mary, we put down a lot.
I have a feeling I don't know any like diehard Sam girl who has heard this podcast for 400 episodes and is like, I'm going to keep listening because they're.
I'm just putting a warning out there because we've had some new Supernatural people following us on Instagram, and we've had some new Supernatural, a really good account that I will shout out here in just a second, that has been very kind and has shared a lot of our stuff. But I'm just putting that out there for the new people. We are not big Sam fans, so we're very critical of him. We don't get to a lot of the other characters. We don't, for people that I know that love this character, don't worry. We don't talk about Jack at all, because we didn't have time. We just did not have time. I mean, honestly. But Aaron A has created this amazing thing. And because we did this podcast episode, we decided we were either going to do a month next year of just Dean Winchester episodes. So also other panelists that were probably mad they didn't get to be on this episode can be on one, or we're going to do a podcast spinoff. Yes, I know I don't have enough things going on in my life, called It's a Dean Thing. And Erin A just sent me this. She made
That
this
is amazing.
This
I
is
love
so
it.
amazing. Oh
That is so
my
gosh.
awesome.
I
This
love
is the
it.
best.
Oh my
This
god.
is the best. So yes, so thank you. I'm trying to get the whoops. Sorry everyone, it's stuck up here. You're just gonna have to watch it for the rest of the day. But we have a poll going on, and I think people may have misunderstood my question on Instagram. But we have because some Dean Winchester fan accounts on Instagram voted a way that I didn't think they would. When I'm saying it's a Dean thing, I'm saying this is a podcast that will be all about Dean Winchester. It's not going to be about other Deans. It's going to be a limited run podcast. It'll be longer than a month because some Dean Winchester fans were voting for the month of Dean Winchester episodes. I don't know if they understood. I meant it's a Dean thing. It's just Dean Winchester. So just letting you know that. So anyway, so yes, so we will be doing that, and I'm very excited about that because that is my favorite character ever, and no one can argue that with me, and I won't hear it. It's just something I can't. So, and that leads me to a question that Jen asked. And there was a reason I recorded this episode. So I have been rewatching Supernatural. I'm not saying Supernatural is a great show. I do think there are great, wonderful seasons in that show. I will love that show forever for bringing so many amazing people into my life. I wouldn't have this podcast without that show. But I've been rewatching it, and then I went back and I listened to our Supernatural episodes, and I apologize to everybody for those episodes because I'm not insulting my panelists here, but I was horrible on those episodes. So I went back to listen to them. And the reason I was horrible on those episodes is there was so much stuff I wanted to say, but I was afraid of like hurting people's feelings and stuff. And so I didn't say a lot of stuff I wanted to say. And I've realized that with a lot of older episodes. So that brings me to a question that Jen asked, another one. If you could visit your pre-podcast self and give her one piece of podcast advice, what would it be? And I'd be like, it's your podcast. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion and to say what you need and want, because I do not do that very well. So that would be the big advice I would give myself. There's other stuff too, but that's a big piece of advice I would give myself. So do Meg and Carla have any pieces of advice they'd give me? I'm just kidding.
Oh, for ourselves for a podcast, make a schedule and stick to it.
Yes.
I think is our biggest thing. And
another thing,
find an editor.
I know, seriously. And also, like, we should have scaled back to 2 per month from the beginning. We did not need to go whole hog weekly.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, and I talked about this. We did a guest spot with Sort of Brilliant recently, and I talked about like people say, like, I don't know who says that kids have fewer activities when they're younger. It's a lie. Every single night I have stuff to do with my kids, and that makes it really hard, which is why like stick to a schedule is my like number one thing, and hire if you can, or if you have someone who loves you enough to do it for free, which I don't. My husband edits podcasts and he won't edit mine for free. But find someone to edit for you, because as much I always find the hesitancy I have when it comes to recording Bedwood Behead episodes, and we haven't recorded in a very long time, is not that I don't love doing the episode or even doing the prep work for the episode, but editing it takes up a lot of my time, and it takes a lot of kind of my enjoyment of doing it away. So if I could find someone who would do that, that would make it a lot easier for me, because I get so in my own head while I'm editing it, and I get so critical of myself listening to myself talk. I already don't like to listen to myself talk, which is funny because I talk so much. Um, but I never listen to podcast episodes that I'm on or anything like that. I don't do it because I don't like to hear myself talk. So I feel like that would be my big advice for myself as a podcaster. My pod advice: don't have kids. Yeah, don't have kids. Don't have a job. Don't have anything to keep you from that 6 hours a week that you're working on your podcast.
6 hours a week.
Hey, I don't record 3 episodes a week, man.
I record just two, but now we do, and I will say, the way we've changed the way we've done things has changed my whole life around podcasting, and it's given me a lot more free time. Having it be where we record the 2 on the same day, and one of them is that pop culture and fandom news, has changed everything for me, because those are always shorter. It's easier to do. And it's just freed up a lot of time, because I agree about the editing thing. The editing, I hate editing. It's my least favorite part. I would not stop podcasting because I love podcasting too much, but editing is so flippin' hard to do, and it's so time consuming, and you don't realize when you start a podcast how time consuming editing will be, because you just think it'll just take that amount of time that the episode is, and that's not true. So it's hard. It's hard, and not in a good way.
Yeah, they say allow 3 times as much editing time as recording time. So if you're recording a 3.5 hour podcast, that's 11 hours of your life.
Oh yeah.
That you're editing. And
yeah.
And Carla and I can't shut up. So we edit down to about an hour, but
but it's a lot of cutting.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot better in the last few months, but yeah,
the last few months we haven't recorded a single thing.
The last few months before our prolonged hiatus.
The last 5 months.
The last 5 months we have been incredible.
Anything. It's been
we have had 0-minute episodes. It's been just.
Have any of you tried Descript? It creates transcripts, and then when you edit the text, it auto edits the audio to match. I don't work for them. No, I haven't.
I have not
but I should
either.
look into that.
Mostly because most of my editing is less about editing the text and the words we use. It's more about us editing weird noises and us getting up to yell at our kids and my ums and buts and clanking around my desk. Which I'm sure Aaron understands from editing anytime.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have to say, I will say, since you mentioned it, I will say, I'm like, okay, Meg's
on here. Time to mute her all the time. And the thing is I really try so hard not to move ever at all, but my microphone either does not pick up my voice at all, or picks up my voice in every single thing around me. And it's so frustrating, and my own OCD or whatever will not let me just be like, it's okay if someone hears like a thump. This is an indie podcast. It's not like a whole studio production, but it's so frustrating for me because I talk with my hands a lot, as you can see.
I do. I talk with my hands too. So
and it makes all these sounds, and I hate it. And it's so it makes me really. But that's part of why I have a hard time listening to, because I get really self-conscious about all of the stuff. Because that's my anxiety.
That's the hard part about editing. It's gotten a little bit better, but that's the hard part about editing, is listening to myself. I don't like listening to myself, but and with the time limits that you said, Jen, with the time limits, that's why I started doing that. The Dean Winchester thing was an exception to that, but that's why I've put now time limits on there and trying to stick to them. And with the exception of that episode, lately our episodes have been like under an hour or an hour, and it's been so nice for me as an editor to be able to edit those and have them done really quickly. So that's why I did that. And that's also why I changed the whole thing last year, because because there's also the prep stuff. And so having to watch like in 2022 when we covered like 8 comedies in 1 month, that was like hell. So I'm never ever going to do that again. So but now I'm like, I'll add in more podcasts now that I'll just do
Yeah.
more podcasts because, hey,
The prep is so much more than you can even really think of. I know when Carla and I decided to start it, we'd be like, oh, it'd just be fine. We just watch this movie or do this show that both of us already watched, and we'll just talk about the characters and stuff like we already both watched ran out really fast. We burned
shocking
through
fast.
it really fast, and then it was like, okay, let's find a show. And every show we're like, okay, great, this has 6 seasons. Awesome. Let's just try and like burn through them. And like we were talking about doing books, but it's like, okay, so I'm gonna try and read a book and do character. It's fun. But I think we did movies for a while, and that was so much easier. But then at the same time, it was really hard because, especially because Carla and I think Carla and I both enjoy a lot of rom-coms and stuff like that. If it's a romance, you get 2 characters and then a third villain X or some other side character that doesn't get nearly as much screen time or development, and trying to figure that out for our particular podcast is rough.
Now, are you all going to be back soon with any podcasts?
We haven't even talked about it.
We haven't talked about it, no. Because November and December are always very difficult for us. We usually go on hiatus in November anyway, because Meg has 5,000 birthdays.
And Thanksgiving, and then we have
Thanksgiving.
Christmas.
Yeah. So I think we'll start talking about it in December.
Well, and then Carla is going to be my unofficial co-host for the next couple of months.
Yeah,
so,
I think Carla's just coming on to It's a Fandom Thing. And I'm just going to be like, we'll be a feature of It's a Fandom Thing. Once every few months, we'll play Bedwood Beheaded, and I'll drag myself out of my coffin to come play.
Well, and then, yeah, because you'll be on here. You'll be, what's the other one? Are you on Christmas music, or are you on something else?
I'm on Best Of.
Oh yeah, duh. You're always on Best Of.
It's going to be so exciting, the Best of 2023, when nothing came out for half a year.
There was stuff though. There was stuff.
It took me 8 months to watch the Barbie movie. I'm going to be such a contributor.
You'll be fine. So I wanted to get to another question here from Jen, and Jen, you're gonna be like, why did I ask you this question? And once again, if anybody has any other questions for me, including Carla and Meg, let me know. Jesse asked a lot of great questions, but this question: if you had to speak in a fictional language, which one would you choose? Klingon, Dothraki, or Minionese? I don't know any of these, so I can't really answer this question. Okay. I can't answer that question. I don't know what that last one is. What is that last
Minions. One? The way that the minions speak.
Oh God, that's so annoying. Yeah. Sorry, those.
So we know that answer.
So it's not that one.
Yeah, it's not that one. So I guess maybe the Klingon one. I don't know.
Actually a real official language. I don't know about Dothraki, but Klingon actually has a whole. You can learn it on Duolingo and everything.
Yeah.
Well, then I will just choose that one. Very exciting answer.
The path of least resistance answer.
Because the minions thing is annoying.
The owl says it's okay, so I'll see.
So I know we only have a few more minutes with Meg and Carla, and we will actually probably wrap up soon anyway. And I do have a thing to play. I did want to play a preview of our Dean Winchester episode, so I'll play that and then I'll come back and say some stuff. But before I do that, oh, it's a mix of several languages and food dishes. What the hell?
No, she's lying.
She's lying?
She's just lying to you.
Way to lie to your twin, Jen. So since both Carla and Meg have to leave here in a few minutes, I want to give them both a chance to, because we are celebrating the 400th episode, which we haven't really talked about that, but we are celebrating that, which is, I can't, it's really hard for me to wrap my brain around this, because I'm like, really? It's been 400 episodes? And then I'm really like, I don't know. That's why I have a recorded thing that I'll be playing, because I'm not making sense. But if Carla wants, I know this is a very weird thing to ask, but Carla, if you have anything you want to say about how amazing it has been for your life to be part of It's a Fandom Thing Pod, and the 350 episodes you have been on out of 400.
I mean, seriously.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. It is 375.
Okay.
Let's be real.
I mean, seriously, I've been on so many. But yeah, like I say it every single time I get the opportunity, that it's so fun to come on here and feel free to have an opinion and not have it shouted down by some dude bro who feels like, oh, but you know, she's a girl, so she needs to have stuff explained to her, which happens very often in real life. I don't know how many times with my guy friends we'll be discussing something pop culture, and I'm explaining something like very passionate feelings about I have about something, and then they either try to minimize or they try to like argue against something or whatever. And it's just so nice to be on a podcast that is primarily women, and at the very least generally non-men. Because it's a very different environment, and it also makes a difference that we all are very into pop culture and that we all enjoy dissecting it as much as we do. And I've very, very much enjoyed the Christian Bale thing. It is one of my favorite things in life. It is, you know, I just have so much fun with it. I love making up weird things about it. It's like the ultimate improv exercise for me. And yes, I have enjoyed being on 422 of your 400 episodes
428.
and not having to edit a single one.
Yeah, that's
She
the
says as if
key.
she says as if she edits any podcast. She's
I edit
ever on.
nothing.
She does
Please,
no
everybody,
editing.
if you are a podcaster and you want a guest who has
She
high
will not
quality
edit.
opinions and zero interested in editing, please contact me. I am happy to come on your show and
High
talk
quality,
about stuff.
if not always correct opinions.
99.999% correct. Like a Dove bar. I'm the Dove bar of podcasts, except not white.
You're lactose intolerant, girl.
I was thinking
No,
a Dove chocolate, like
no,
Dove chocolate
it was the
bar.
ivory bars. It's the ivory bars.
I was like,
She's
like,
like,
what
Dove
if-
bar. I was like, wait.
Yes, I'm like, wait a second.
was thinking,
No, it's the ivory
Dove
one.
bars are so delicious. I'm like,
They are delicious, but she can't
Carla's
eat
like,
them.
I taste so good.
My
Eat
I
me.
mean, no comment, but I have had no complaints.
My opinions are delicious, no matter how bitter they may be. No matter how much heartburn they might give you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Okay.
Don't try to eat soap, though, everybody.
Yeah. Please don't eat
seriously.
Irish Spring.
Yes, your Christian Bale. Seriously, it's the best thing ever.
It's very fun.
Yes, Carla is Christian Bale. I agree.
It's like,
and
you know, the whole I'm Batman thing is like, I'm Christian Bale.
And you know what's so great
Same,
about it
Jen. I
on
totally
the
forgot Dove comes in the soap form. I'm
on
sorry.
on the actual Christian Bale thing, like that actual person, the person that read the Disney
Oh, sorry, not me. Okay, I'll mute myself again.
No, you can say something on this. I also what I've loved about doing it is I think I grew to understand an actor in a different way because that man is the biggest dork in the whole entire world. That man is a dork, and I don't think anyone really realizes that. But when you delve into his
No.
world and you watch him, and like I follow one of a Christian Bale account, and they're always talking about that. He's such a dork, and he
Yeah.
dresses horribly, and he dresses like a dad. I mean, I don't know.
He's a dorky dad with a cool job.
Yes.
He pretends to be a cool person, and that's what makes him such a good actor, is that he's clearly not.
He's clearly not a cool person, but he's good at pretending that he is. But I'm glad he's that way. I'm glad he's that way and not the other way of like, oh,
Yeah.
He is
I'm
an
Christian
actor.
Bale. Yeah,
He can
I am an
act
actor.
cool.
So Meg,
Yeah.
how much do you love me in this podcast?
Oh man, the NyQuil is just running through my veins, and I was like, you know what's a good idea when you're on cold medicine? Have a couple beers. Have a couple beers. I 400 episodes is insane to me. Like that's just mind-boggling. I'm gonna second everything Carla said. I love coming on to a place where even if I don't agree with everybody and everyone doesn't agree with me, there is always a respect for differing opinions and a respect for the discussion and the passion that you have in your fandoms. I know that there's stuff that I really, really enjoy that frankly nobody else I know likes or cares about. But I can come on and talk about it, and it won't be mocked or made fun of. It'll be respected because it's something that I really care about. And I think it's rare to find a group of people who will do that, who will let you love something without making you feel shitty about loving it. And that's something that I very much enjoyed. And also, unlike Carla, I do edit podcasts. And it is very, very nice to come on and talk for hours and hours and hours and not have to edit a single second of it. It might be my favorite thing ever about it is my favorite thing about guesting on any podcast ever is that I can go on it and talk and talk and talk.
It's
and
true.
they have to deal with me in post. They have to be the ones to figure out what of my
I think this is
bullshit
why you
they
haven't
cut
been
out.
kicked off, Meg, is because she's not editing anything tonight.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. I'm not, no, I love you, Meg. No, but that's the way I feel when I guest on a podcast too. It's like, bye, Jen. Love you. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's the way I
God,
feel too. When I guest, I
throat
love
is like-
guesting because it's like you just get to do the fun part.
It's like a vacation.
You get to do the fun part.
Who needs to prep? I mean, I do prep, but usually you can
usually want to
you
do prep
can
because
hear
make it
my
not
throat
hurt.
is just like
Yeah, prep as much as possible to avoid pain.
yes,
It's very easy.
and
it's very
aftercare
good.
is also important.
Oh my god.
Who's been reading fanfic? That girl right there. That one.
I've been reading too much fanfic lately. You should see. I have like 10 tabs open of different fanfic.
That's amateur hour. Carla at her heyday had like 352 at least. More than that. They stopped counting, didn't they?
Wow.
1,000.
So, really quickly, favorite.
Ooh,
We're not having turkey tomorrow. Favorite non-turkey Thanksgiving food. Go, Carla.
Not cranberry sauce, the jellied, of course, in a can. If it's
Oh
not from a can,
God.
then I don't want it.
because you
You're
like
the
the
only
ridges
other-
to tell you how to slice them.
It's ribbed for my pleasure.
See, here I go knocking my microphone.
You're the Carla. You're the only other person in the whole entire world, other than me, that feels this way.
Really?
My entire
Yes.
family
Almost
is
everyone
canned
I
jelly
know
people.
loves
Nobody I know
canned
loves
jelly
cranberry.
sauce.
Nobody I know loves it. Nobody
If somebody makes it, if
I
somebody
buy
goes out
it
of
for
their way
myself.
to make it, I'm like, I appreciate the effort. However, your energy is misplaced.
We for our big family Thanksgiving, we have the whole berry cranberry sauce and the jellied cranberry sauce, both, because some people like both. And the jellied always goes first. I don't even like cranberry. My favorite non-turkey Thanksgiving food is literally everything but the turkey. But I am a stuffing girly. I love me some good stuffing,
How
and
do you? Do you?
yeah, it's
I
stuff
love
me.
to be stuffed.
I love that stuff.
Sometimes lots of prep beforehand.
Yeah, lots of prep, lots of aftercare, but yeah, stuff me, mash me,
Ooh.
green bean casserole me. I don't know, like literally everything but the turkey
Roll me.
and yams. I hate yams.
Oh,
So
thank you. Oh my gosh.
you can, there's not enough marshmallows to put on a sweet potato to make me eat it. I'm sorry. I hate
I
them so
love
much.
you so much,
I
Meg. Oh
hate them.
gosh.
They're not even allowed in my house. Oh, and if someone's gonna make like the good mac and cheese, like no Velveeta being thrown into a pile of overcooked noodles. Like I want good like mac and cheese. That's another favorite.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry. I'm just hungry, I think
We're
is what's
having
happening.
lasagna for dinner tomorrow.
I'm making my
We're having
family.
tostadas.
Oh, that
Yes.
sounds good.
My family's big. Like my family Thanksgiving is on Saturday, so tomorrow we're having like the Outlander recipe I found for a pork tenderloin. It's just in the Outlander cookbook, and I found it online, and it's a really good pork tenderloin. That's what we're doing because I'm very cool.
That sounds good too.
I can't eat turkey more than once a year.
Thank you, Jesse. Jesse also agrees with us about the yams. So yes, Well, and I'm
thank
just
you.
not
for me.
We're having quiche for breakfast and a coffee cake and lots of appetizers and
Nice.
and of course pie. I love pie.
Oh, pie's delicious.
Yeah, we have pumpkin and cherry pie.
We have
And
about
whipped
6
cream.
pies at Thanksgiving, and they differ
really?
each year. There's always pumpkin, there's always apple, but then there's 4 other random pies for 10 people.
I love pie. I absolutely love pie.
Same. Way better than cake.
I agree.
That's all I need in my life. Okay, I'm like the NyQuil is like
Okay, so I will bid adieu then to Carla and Meg to the boobs. And then I'll just have a couple of things. So thank you. And thank you for coming on. Love you both so much. And thank you for being a part of this. So
love you.
Bye. Okay, so it's just going to be for me for just a few minutes. Not a few minutes, but a little bit, because I do need to go back to editing a 3.5-hour episode. But I do have something that I will close out with, which is just me saying my thank yous about the 400th. And I just want to thank people for watching and for the questions and everything. I really, really appreciate it. But I did want to play a preview clip here of our episode that is dropping Friday. Our Dean Winchester episode that is our epic 3.5-hour episode. So I do want to do a little preview here. So I also to give my voice a little bit of a break here, but here is this is a pretty long preview, but here's a preview of our upcoming Dean Winchester episode. And this is only 4 minutes, but this is once again a 3.5-hour episode. There's going to be an unedited YouTube version of this dropping as well on Friday. So you get to see bloopers and stuff. Or I don't know if there's that many bloopers, but why do you love Dean Winchester?
I mean, how can you not love Dean Winchester? That's the real question. A certain amount of relatability to him. I am also an older sibling who in various ways had to be somewhat of a caretaker to a younger sibling. Also, just the way Jensen portrayed it, there's this weight on his shoulders, because he feels he has to literally save the world, but there's also this boyishness to him, this childlike attitude in some things that was just fun to see. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Dean, I would not have continued watching the series. I only started watching it because we were some friends and I, we were going to be playing a tabletop RPG game, and my friend was basing it on Supernatural.
To me, the question is, why doesn't everyone love Dean Winchester? Because he, out of all the characters in Supernatural, he is my number one top favorite. It's like 10 out of 10. And it's not just because Jensen Ackles is hot, which he is, respect, looking disrespectfully at times. But it could have any point become very like one note, very flat. But each time, each season, each kind of appearance, he just gives him so much life and so much character. Like this is like a fully fleshed out person, and that kind of same level of care and love isn't extended to only Sammy. It's extended to almost everyone that he comes across in his life, and because he cares about everyone so deeply, and every kind of loss that he has throughout the whole series run, he carries it with him for just the amount of depth that he has, and how much it's a wonderful portrayal. Like I just love Dean so much.
I started watching Supernatural because, I honestly was like, I had heard of the show. I didn't know it had a huge fandom. I had heard of it and was like, I'll probably never watch that show. It sounds silly and cheesy and whatever. And then Netflix kept recommending it to me. And I had been a fan of Jensen Ackles since his time on Days of Our Lives. So I have been a fan of that of him as an actor for a long time. And then I went, okay, I'll give it a chance. And from the very beginning, Dean was my absolute favorite character. What I love about Dean is just how beautiful he is. I don't think everybody gives Dean enough credit for how absolutely beautiful he is. I think he is the most emotional character on the show. I think everything he does, and I was so grateful in 15-18 that he was told this by Cass, everything Dean does is because of love. He is just pure love. I see myself in this character in ways that are even sort of hard to describe. He is like a little kid sometimes, and I mean that in a good way. Like in the episode Beyond the Mat, when he sees one of his favorite wrestlers, and then he has a moment where he goes into the wrestling ring and he's pretending to be a wrestler, and it is the most adorable thing in the world. And here he is. This is season 11. He has already been to purgatory. He's been to hell. He's been a demon. He's been, the mark of Cain happened. All this horrendous stuff has happened. And here he is playing like a wrestler. The fact that he can still do that after all that pain shows you what a beautiful character he is. And when we do our It's a Dean thing, the very first episode will be why we love Dean Winchester. And I want to say, Carla does our cover art every episode, and that cover art she did for that episode, the pictures she chose of Dean are so beautiful. And I love that, as she said, like, you get to see him at his lightest in season 1, and then you see him at his darkest as Demon Dean, and then you see him in the middle of like sort of the end, the progression. And I love that so much. I want it framed, honestly. I think it's really beautiful pictures. So that will be out on Friday. And I want to give a shout out to one of our new Instagram followers who has just been sharing a lot of our posts, and we've been getting a lot more Supernatural fans. and that is the SPN Verse on Instagram. So if you are a Supernatural fan, please go give them a follow. So thank you again for sharing so many of our posts. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you interacting with them and sharing them to your stories. That means a lot to me. So thank you. And I am going to go ahead and we are going to close out here. But I want to thank everybody for watching and people who watch later, and everybody who has ever listened to a single second of this podcast, watched a single second of one of our previous live streams, been on our Patreon supporters, people who have been interview guests. I have been so lucky to interview so many amazing actors and writers and directors. And let me tell you, interviewing people, that's been one of my greatest joys and one of my greatest pleasures. And I just feel so honored that I get to talk to actors and directors and writers and, just creators in general, and to hear their process, and then to have those same creators interact with me and watch my stuff, and watch, especially on Instagram. Instagram is where we've been a lot more active lately because Twitter is horrible. So just thank you so much for that. It's been an honor. And thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you. So yeah, I feel I'm growing and changing, and hopefully everybody continues to enjoy the show. I mean, we're listened to around the globe, around the globe. And I always get so excited when we get new countries. Like I was really excited it happened a little bit before I went to Ireland, when we had that big influx of listeners in Dublin, and I was just very excited about that. And I just get such a thrill that we are listened to across the globe. It's like not even where I am locally, and not just the United States. So that makes me very, very happy. So thank you for continuing to support the show, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. And yeah, so I wrote something, and so I wouldn't get emotional, about the 400th episode and about thanking a lot of people. And it was on our our 400th episode that we just released. But I wanted to just play that as a closeout, as a way of thanking people. And if your name isn't in here, I just listed people that have recently been panelists and my Patreon supporters in the name section. But know that if you have ever been a supporter of this show in any way, shape, or form, that I do mean you as well, as a thank you, because none of this would happen without people listening. So thank you for listening. And I'm hoping we can bring back the live streams next year. We haven't done that many live streams, so I'm hoping we can bring some of those back. Of course, in January, all our Christian effing Bale episodes will be live, so that you can see quote unquote Christian, because it's part of it is being able to see that. So thank you, everybody. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. And I hope that this holiday season can bring about as little stress as possible, because I know this can be very stressful. And I know sometimes it's not safe being with your family. And so if you need safety, if you feel like you're not accepted by your family, I hope you can find some acceptance with us. So as your fandom family. And, as we know in Supernatural, family doesn't end with blood, and it doesn't start with blood. So please know that we support you, especially if you are different and weird and odd and you don't feel like you fit in. So hopefully you can find a home here. So thank you. Love you all. And here is my actual thanking. And it's pretty long, so that's why I'm just going to bid everybody adieu. But please watch this if you feel so inclined. So thank you. Love you all. I have a few things I want to say. So this is if this sounds scripted, it's because it is scripted. So, so first, it is so hard to believe that this podcast has made it to 400 episodes and that we're almost at the 4-year mark. When I started the podcast, I thought I would be lucky to last maybe 6 months. Now, nearly 4 years later, I can't imagine my life without the show. I have learned so much about myself, pop culture, fandom, my friends, and the world through doing this show. It has truly been a lifesaver, and I just can't thank you enough for being a part of this journey, for everyone listening, everyone that's been on it. Yes, earlier episodes, I cringe when I listen to them because they don't sound as good, and I can hear my nervousness if I listen back, but I still cherish those early ones. I'm even thinking about maybe revisiting those and recording updated versions of those episodes. I think I've grown as a host, and I think my panelists have grown as well. I have so many people to thank for getting me here. And please know that even if I don't mention you by name, because I'm just going to mention panelists by name and Patreon supporters, please know if I miss anyone, it's not because I don't love and appreciate you. It's because I'm a little bit overwhelmed by all of this. First, I just really want to give a huge thanks, excuse me, to two people who help behind the scenes a lot, and that is Aaron A., who is our producer and who designed our logo. Who, I heard from a Patreon supporter who got, like, if you're donating at the higher tier, we have things that you will get, like you'll get a sticker, and then you'll get a mug, you'll get a shirt, and then after a certain number of months too, you'll get like a tote bag. And she got a tote bag. It's a black tote bag, and it has our logo. And she was like telling me how great it looks because of the logo and the color scheme and all of that kind of stuff. So big shout out to Aaron A. for creating that. And also we have other merch too in our Redbubble store. Excuse me. And Aaron A. also designed our website. So thank you for that, because I've tried to do that stuff before, and it's not something I'm actually really good at. So thank you for doing that. And then thank you to Carla, who Carla creates, if you don't know this, Carla creates all of our episode art. And for our pop culture and fandom news episodes, she creates, like, she sends me the different, I should have written this part down, and I didn't, because now I'm forgetting what it's called. But the different elements from that. So she'll send me those, so that if I want to use that individually, like recently I used the Ryan Gosling one she created. So she will do that for me, which is just great and wonderful that she takes the time to create the cover art for everything. And sometimes she'll put in something special. Sometimes she'll create like a bonus one. So thank you, Carla, for doing all of that. I really, really appreciate that. And I do want to say, to you, Paula, I know you have been like my right hand for some of our trivia events in the past, and I could not have done those trivia events without you doing that. So thank you. You've helped with the score. You've helped that kind of stuff. So, and Aaron A. helped create those boards that I obviously can't run. Go watch our Finn Whitrock trivia from last year to see how all the scores were 0. I couldn't even run it well. But thank you for that, Paula, too. And thank you for anyone who has helped with some of those behind the scenes things and has helped with those trivia events. It means a lot to me. Next, just the biggest thank you. Of course, none of this would be possible without my beautiful panelists, and I'll name you all at the end here. You have shared with me and our listeners around the globe, but not just in the United States. We are listened to around the globe. So, that's amazing. You have shared not only your love for pop culture and fandom, but also a piece of yourself. And the courage it takes to open up like that is not lost on me. So thank you so much. Next, thank you to every writer, director, producer, actor, author, and other creator that I've been honored to interview. I have learned during my 4 years of podcasting that one of the greatest joys of my life is being able to interview people about their creative process. And it has been such a gift to hear from the creators out there. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me and for sharing your art. And I have learned so much from all of you. So it truly is a great honor every time I speak to you. And we have a great interview coming out next week. It's going to be coming out on the 28th. And it is with the editors of the new book, Soups Ain't Always Heroes, The Psychology of the Boys. And I recorded this back in September. I was editing it yesterday, and it's so good. So I cannot wait for people to hear that. If you're a Supernatural fan, Dr. Zubernis is Dr. Lynn Zubernis, who runs the Fangasm account. If you're a Supernatural fan, I'm sure you know Fangasm and you know all the books. They have co-written and co-edited. Well, they are one of the editors on this book. So there's, of course, a chapter that she wrote that's all about Soldier Boy, played by Jensen Ackles. There's an interview with Jensen Ackles in the book. So, of course, Supernatural's tying in because, and also Eric Kripke, of course, too. But that's a great book that's coming out on December 5th, and I highly recommend it. So that interview will be dropping on the 28th. So look for that. But just editing that, just again, whenever I edit the interviews, whenever I do interviews, I'm just reminded of how lucky I am that I'm able to do that. And I've talked with some amazing people this past year. So thank you so much. And thank you to those creators who follow us on Instagram and watch our Instagram stories. I see you, and it's, and I've mentioned this before, but it really is like a fandom geek out moment, because it's like other creators are watching what I'm creating, and it means a lot to me. So thank you. And I can't wait for interviews the next year. Next, to my beautiful Patreon subscribers, thank you for believing in my dream enough to actually contribute financially. You help keep this thing afloat, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in me. So thank you. You'll be in my list of names that I'm thanking too. So thank you. And then lastly, and most importantly, really, to all the people out there who have listened to even one episode of our show, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are the reason we continue. And it still blows my mind that people from around the world have taken the time to listen to what we have to say and to give our little show even like 20 minutes. I don't know if we've ever had well, yes, we have interviews, but I'm like, have we had 20-minute episodes? But thank you, because you take a bit of your time to actually listen to the show, and well, we wouldn't be here without you. So, and I hope you continue to enjoy the show. Okay, so now some names. Of course, Paula and Susie, Carla, Erin A, Tiff, Meg, Sasha, Sarah, Danelle, Jen, my podcast brain twin Jen from my streaming bubble. Go check out our new podcast, Twin It to Win It. It's a monthly podcast. We just released our second episode. Ishel, Kim, Pasha, Eli, Tanya, Ken, Chrissy, Judy, Bex, Rachel, Robin, Rebecca, Ellen, and Mal, and I really hope I'm not forgetting anyone. I am worried always that I'm forgetting somebody, and I probably am. So if I did forget you, I was going back through our old schedule to look, and now I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm sure I'm missing someone. So if I did miss you, it's not anything personal. It's me. So, But anyway, thank you so much. And thank you again, Paula and Susie, for being on and for being a part of this for so long. And I should have calculated how many episodes total both of you have been on, and I didn't do that. But hey, and both Paula and Susie were nominated last year for favorite panelist for our inaugural Fandom Choice Awards, which that name. Oh, sorry. That cut off a little bit there. But I just wanted to say good night again and thank you again, and hope you continue to enjoy the podcast. So love you all. Have a great and safe holiday weekend. Bye.